I have summarized a few things about Mercury before we go ahead and talk about all the 12 houses um, where Mercury will be placed in all the 12 houses. So let's look at the simple significations of Mercury. So as we all know, I would recommend please go back and read the previous class so that the understanding is much better before you listen to this class. So Mercury is a child, and a child, always gets a pencil first, right? He would not get a pen to write. Okay, he would have a slate, he would have a slate pencil. He would be able to write something and will be able to rub off easily. So the idea with kids is they are allowed to do mistakes in life. Okay, if a kid does a mistake, he's pardoned very easily, but adults' mistakes are not usually pardoned, right? So Mercury is a kid. He can make mistakes in life, because unless you make mistakes, it's difficult to learn, right? That's always there. Everybody says that. So this person, this planet, Mercury, is very keen to learn something, is very curious, is very anxious, right? Doesn't know something, he wants to learn it. That is what Mercury is. Mercury is also a planet that goes retrograde thrice in a year. Most of the planets like this, Saturn, Jupiter, they get retrograde only once in a year. Venus goes approximately 1.5 years once. And then Mars goes retrograde once in 2 years. So if you see, Mercury is the only planet that gets multiple retrogradations in a year, rather 3 retrogradations to be precise, in a year's time. So Mercury actually gives many things or multiplies whatever it gives, right? And Mercury is a kid. So if you see kids would prefer that their parents are always around so that they are not afraid. They're afraid of strangers, right? So Mercury, when it comes into contact with any other planet other than Sun and Moon, it is a little afraid, or it gets all the strength or the direction to move with respect to the planet it is along with. It's similar to the moon. Even in the moon significations, we have heard that moon behaves like the planet which is alongside him or which is aspecting the moon. Same is the case with Mercury, because Mercury is highly influential. Mercury is a kid. You teach the kid, a language, he learns it faster than the adults, right? So kids pick up a lot of words in a day. Same is the case with Mercury. So Mercury is the communication. So better the Mercury is, better is the communication. It could be more the number of languages that the person may know, or it could be a single language in which he's very, very keen on the grammar that he's speaking or the kind of accent that he is making, so that the pronunciation is very good. Okay, so it can be both the cases. So it depends on the person, the location in which the person is. If the need be, I mean, if he lives in a place where multiple languages are spoken, he would learn most of them, right? So it depends on the opportunity that the person would get. And after Moon, Mercury is the fastest planet, right? So Mercury is also very changeable in nature. Mercury drives a change in life, right? Mercury does mistakes. Mercury brings in changes. Same is the case with Moon. Moon also is the Manas, and to the Manas, the Buddhi is born, right? So Buddhi also drives us all through, because as we age, Buddhi will keep increasing, right? It is not that the Buddhi is going down. Buddhi always will keep increasing. Okay. So that is the positive side of Moon. And Moon does not like to go emotional, right? Because Mercury does not want to go emotional, because Mercury does not like the moon or the water. Mercury is completely an earthly planet and does not want to, budge for emotions. Like, Mercury is a planet who is absolutely interested in numbers and business. So, there are sayings like in which, you may be a brother at home, right? What Mercury can speak is, you may be brother at home, you may be a brother of mine at home, but this is the office. You have to behave as if you are a professional, right? Mercury is a working professional also. So Mercury does not want to show up any emotions, want to stick to earthly things. What are those earthly things? Earthly things can be money, earthly things can be gold, earthly things can be all of those comforts that are available only on the earth. Okay, so certainly all the riches, business, money making, okay, and joyful living, right, and witty nature, and striking jokes, pranks, because kids do a lot of pranks, right? All the pranking is done by kids, and that's why whoever likes a comedy, their kid thing in their life is always there all through. Even though you may be 50 years old or 60 years old, if you're watching comedy, that's why people encourage to watch comedy movies, so that you are not too emotionally driven. Let us suppose you're emotionally very down. Usually people watch comedy movies so that they get rejuvenated, etc., right? And Mercury is also the karaka for medicines, right? He's a significator of medicines because Mercury rules the sixth house, and Mercury is very interested in going deeply into a subject. So Virgo is the Rashi or the sign which goes very deep inside and tries to understand what is wrong with it. This can be a positive trait, and this can also be a negative trait, because all the significations are like that. So on the positive side is going deep down into the subject and learning something, and sometimes going very deep down into some matters is not essential. It could cause a time waste, or it could sometimes offend a person because you're trying to drill too much into him, right? These two can be the setbacks of having a very having a magnifying lens in your hand and trying to analyze a lot of things, right? So he is too much into the details. And Mercury is a kid or a young adolescent who is curious to learn everything as fast as possible, and surpass his guru or the teacher that who is teaching him, wants to prove himself in a job or a business, ultimately make money, get that money, uplift his family, and lead a comfortable life. This is what Mercury is very focused upon. And Mercury is very possessive. Mercury is kid like. So if you try to if you try to snatch away one of his toys of a kid, he would cry like hell, right? He would ask you to give back his toy. So similarly, Mercury is very possessive for all those earthly things. He cannot, he cannot, he cannot tolerate, somebody taking away his earthly possessions, right? And Mercury is very youthful. Mercury is very inspired by people who are very creative, okay? Because Sun is the most creative person, right? Unless the Sun is there, none of the creation can happen. Everybody knows that. So Sun is the father of all the creation. So Mercury is very fond of Sun. That's why Mercury stands alongside the Sun, and he would always be very close to Sun because he likes the creative part of Sun. And because he's inspired by creation, he would think, okay, let's suppose there is some work in the office. He would always look at how to simplify this work, reduce the time taken to complete it. So he's trying to focus on time consumption and reduction of it, or he's trying to do the same job at a lower cost so that the company makes more profits, or the person himself makes more profits. He's a businessman, right? So most of the times, Mercury is looking at more and more money. So the stronger the Mercury is, the person is more focused at business. So very strong people usually, very strong Mercury people usually will be interested in setting up a business of himself rather than working for a company. However, they may still be forced to work because of different conditions like lack of capital, etc., In such cases, what happens is wherever they work, they're working for those companies to bring in more and more profits, and thereby actually, getting those salary increments, etc. They work like donkeys. I mean, they can also put serious physical effort as well. I mean, I'm not saying Mercury uses only the brains, only the smart work, but will not do the hard work. No, it's not like that, because Mercury rules the sixth house, gets exalted in the sixth house. You see in the offices where, usually people of around 50 years of age, heads the department, and he would be given a guy of about 25, 30 years of age in usual production, companies I'm talking about, not about the typical software companies. Probably there as well, it may still work, but I'm talking about usual production facilities where the departmental heads are people who have some experience, and under them are those young men or young women who are, curious to learn a lot of things and do a lot of physical work. So these people put a lot of hard work at office, right? And Mercury rules the third house as well, besides the sixth house in the natural zodiac. So the person is using his third house to build a lot of things. What does the third house represent? Third house can represent many things. It can represent your mind. It can represent your thought process. It can represent your logic. It can represent your hands, because your hands is what is the skill that you have. Anything, any craft or any skill that where your hands would be used delicately, right? Mars also represents the hands, but Mars represents more of the physical strength a man can have and how much the person can lift up. Like, a physical labor is coming from the Mars, but Mercury is more delicate. Like, if you want to have an embroidery work, you need delicate hands and you need fast hands. Let's suppose you're trying to develop yourself into a tennis player or a cricket player, for that matter, any sports where hand is being used. Okay, there you need both the skill and also the strength. So the skill is ruled by the Mercury, the strength is ruled by the Mars. Both come from the third house. Okay, and what else can come up? It can also show the part-time or the pastime things, usually that we will develop during our childhood. Example, you go to school from 9 to 5 in the morning, from the morning 9 a.m. till 4 a.m. in the evening. At 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., usually people are sent out for some or the other sports. It could be games or sports, like, people playing chess or people playing, a game like a cricket. So where these are pastime things, which can eventually develop by the time the person gets into a college or a university. This can develop into a skill, and eventually it can turn out into a skill wherein he can earn from it. Okay, even that can be possible. So that's why I keep saying, please do not judge something from just one house. You may still have a very good third house from which you're trying to earn something. And believe me, most astrologers of the big kind, they always will say anything that comes out from the third house will give you a lot more, because you're passionate to do that thing. As long, because everybody says that, right? If you're doing something very passionately, it means that you're doing it very joyfully, cheerfully, you're loving to do it. So the more is the possibility to actually earn more, because you can put more work hours because you're passionate enough, right? A 9 to 5 job usually, can bring in boredom, monotony, etc. But just in case, if you're a cricket player, every day you have a challenging ball in front of you, so you may still feel as if, this is very interesting, depending on the player, depending on the person that you are. So those are all the things, and there can be a few more significations for the third house. Sixth house usually denotes service, but Mercury being in the sixth house, or you firstly in the D10, I mean, I'm talking about the D10 now, the Dashansha, wherein Mercury being in the sixth house, the basic rule is it spoils out the business, spoils out the employment, and the person is trying to get into business, okay, because he is too knowledgeable about how the business runs. Maybe in the first few years, he's employed in a company, but later on the person is eyeing at some business so that, he can earn more and more money, right? So sixth house, third house, sixth house can give you service, right? So Mercury is very good at service as well, as I said, and he is very organized of things. So he neatly labels out files. Everything is in orders. If somebody wants to review a file, etc., then it's very easy to retrieve it. All these are Mercurian significations. And Mercury wants to be connected to everyone, because Sun is the one who's a central figure, right? And Mercury stays very close to the Sun. So Mercury also feels the need, but Sun is a luminary, so the need for staying connected remains with those planets, but not with the Sun, because those planets will need the sunlight, but it's not the Sun will need those planets. But in case of Mercury, Mercury wants to stay in touch with all of those planets. So because Mercury is a child, right? Any acquaintance the child develops, he tries to come close to them. So Mercury is a friend of everyone. That's why he's called as a neutral. It's not that he does not have a gender, etc., but Mercury can join with anyone very happily, just like the moon. He has those same characteristics. So does that bring you good or bad, or both? Will depend eventually on the combination, the Lagna, the placement from the Lagna, the Navamsha placements, the Dashamsa placement, and the Dasha. All of that will influence, and never be of the opinion that any planet, for that matter, placed anywhere will bring only one result. Any planet placed anywhere, please write this in red ink. Okay. A lot of people keep asking me, I have Mercury or Mars or some planet at some position. Is this good or bad? It can never be answered. You know why? Because the same planet can give you a job, and the same planet can be the cause of your father's early death, right? The same planet can give you a big job in the US. The same planet can give you a big fraud on the online. So do not ever think that, oh, this planet, Mercury, or for that matter, any planet, will give you only one result. This planet is placed at a particular position based on your past life karma, right? So it will give you all the results based on the karma that you have done in the past, in this life as well, whatever you have done till date, right? Based on which, but the advantage with astrology is, if you are in tune with, let's suppose you can make money in one direction, right? If the astrologer can analyze the chart and tell you, look, these are those things from where you can make money. And if you are in tune with such line, it is easier to make money, right? That is why astrology will be useful. But not say that this planet is bad, that planet is bad, the other planet is good. Okay, as I got to hear from someone very recently, somebody got a reading from somewhere. The astrologer said, none of the planets in your chart are good, all are bad placements. Okay, please do not make such predictions. They don't work, because everybody will have good time and a bad time in his life. It will be very foolish to conclude something like that. Okay, challenges everything, because Mercury is a planet who wants a change, as I said. Because see, Mercury is curious. Mercury is development of a society, right? Because a child will want to grow as fast as possible. While growing, what happens? Let's suppose you just take 20 years ago how the world was, and today how the world is. It's all because of the Mercury. It's all because of the Buddhi. Because the consciousness or the Buddhi is constantly increasing all through. And people who started as early man, the humans who started as early man, today they are, completely developed individuals, and they're going to go more and more farther, right? So it is, the whole development is connected to Mercury, because that is the Buddhi, right? Because it comes from the intelligence, it comes from the hard work, both are ruled by Mercury. And for hard work and intelligence, Mercury says you have to treat everyone equally. It's not like the Jupiter. Jupiter would say, look, okay, not everybody is born with the same talent, right? Or not everybody can be respected the same way, right? But Mercury says, no, it's not like that. Sit down, work on a skill, develop that skill, and with practice, anything can happen. Actually, both are right. See, there are some things that comes inherently, like suppose you have a very good voice and a very good understanding of the rhythm of singing, right? Because you get to see singers, right? Most of the singers that are available as playback today, you just look at them when they were in the childhood. All of them, like they have started singing in the second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, etc. Most of them. You know why? Because they have got that inherent talent. However, Mercury disagrees with that. Mercury says, look, although you may be not born with the talent, you can develop that talent with time. Actually, both are right. Okay. You can develop that talent over time. I mean, most of the things, 90% of those practical things can be developed over time, right? Unless, I mean, let us suppose you're a stammering guy, then it becomes singing can become very, very difficult, right? Okay, and so he's looking at solutions to the problems even before the problem appears in front of him. He wants to be proactive and does not like surprises because Mercury is afraid of darkness, right? Mercury debilitates in the 12th house. It does not mean that somebody who has a planet in the Pisces is not going to do anything. I mean, Mercury in the Pisces does not mean it is debilitated for that person. Mercury does not like darkness. It is only a symbolic representation of that. What a lot of people are thinking is, oh my God, my Mercury is debilitated. He is my seventh lord, so all my whole thing is gone. Doesn't work like that. Okay. Never fall for such predictions. They don't work. If it was so easy, PBR Narasimha Rao, who developed this Jagannath Hora software, he has enough space in the program. He could have just simply written all those debilitated planets are going to give you bad results, and all these exalted planets are going to give you good results. If you don't believe me, please pick up those charts who have exalted planets. They are also facing a lot of difficulties. Who are having debilitated planets are also doing very well in their life. So please don't conclude using debilitation and exaltation. They don't work. I keep saying this in all my classes. Although it's a repetition, I want everybody to be very clear about this. Okay. And then, so Mercury dislikes the darkness because child, right? You ask any child to go into a darkness, he would say, no, I'm afraid. I don't want to go in the darkness, right? Now let's look at the Mercury in 12 houses. So Mercury in the 12 houses, usually I deal it through the Puranas that we have, but unfortunately not much of information is available with respect to the Puranic characteristics that can represent Mercury. Because Mercury comes out from an avatara that we have discussed even the last time, called as Buddhya Avatara. It is not the Buddha, not the Gautama Buddha. It is the Buddhya Avatara, and not much of information is available right now about this avatara. So what I have done for the first time is I have picked up all those significations that I have learned from all my gurus, and I tried to, I tried to summarize those in a place and picked up those possibilities or picked up those significations or characteristics that appear with Mercury in each of these 12 houses. So Mercury in Lagna. So Mercury is, as we know, Mercury can be mother's sibling because it exalts in the sixth house. Sixth house is third from the fourth house, or it can also represent your own siblings or your own cousins or people who are just called as kith and kin of you, right? So as we did every time, what you will understand here is if you have Mercury in the Lagna, there will be some event in the life of these people who represent the Mercury. Like it could be your sibling, your mother's sibling, or it could be any kith and kin of your family or the extended family that you have. There will be some significant life event in their life, like getting married, okay, or getting a very good job, okay, or they may get some wealth, or they may go down in the wealth, okay, something that is significant in their life that can happen with the birth of this native. Okay, Mercury in the Lagna, usually the person is looking little younger than what he is. Okay, but just be careful. The Mercury has to be close enough to the degrees of the Lagna. Okay, in the Navamsha, if you have Mercury in the Lagna, more likely this can happen. The person can look a lot younger than in the D1 chart. So just be careful while you're looking at the D1 chart. So in the D9 chart, if you have Mercury in the Lagna, the boy may look a lot younger. So he may have, how do you say that as, see, kiddish appearance, right? Kids do not have mustaches, beards, etc. So the boy may be looking like a kid who has a very, very shaved face, wherein, not much of a mustache is there, or not much of facial hair is there for the boys. And for the women, they will look a lot shorter. They will look a lot, younger, sort of a thing. It does not mean they are beautiful. Okay, don't attach beauty to it. They may look younger by about 5 to 6 years of age than what their biological age is. Okay, that can be possible. Anybody that has who has Mercury or Jupiter in the Lagna, people may, I mean, the world may think that these people are very selfish with either the Jupiter or the Mercury, because both of them have the directional strength in the Lagna. The reason is, mm, uh, you know, uh, Mercury and Jupiter believe in preaching or teaching something only when they understand it well. Okay, or let us suppose somebody tries to, there is a school, okay, there's a class, and there are two kids. First kid is about second or third rank in the class, and the other kid is about 20th in the class. The first kid has a very good Mercury, and the other kid walks up to him and says, look, why don't you teach me? I'm actually falling short of marks in the exams. He would say, look, I'm not an expert myself, because he has a very good Mercury. He thinks, let me improve myself first. That is when I can teach the other people. Okay, so this can be a possibility. So the other person will think, look, he is already at 95 and he's still not teaching me. Okay, so this can be possible sometimes, but see, do not take any of these significations as they are, because Mercury is a lot changeable. So sometimes the perceived value of the person may look selfish. Okay. Or if the person says, look, why don't you lend me 10,000 rupees? The person may have those 10,000 rupees, but he would say, look, I'm completely jacked up for all my expenses. That, look, I have 1 lakh rupees of expenses and you want 10,000 out of it, although I have 1 lakh, but I have framed up everything for that 1 lakh to be consumed. I cannot give you that money. So it may look as if he is a lot selfish fellow. Okay. So do not think selfish is a bad trait. Sometimes it is required. Okay. It's difficult for a logical person and a self-centered person to be easily defeated. Although Jupiter may be defeated for different reasons. We will talk about Jupiter later on when Jupiter comes up. But for a person who has Mercury in the Lagna, it's difficult to be cheated. Okay. I do not mean to say that anybody who has a Mercury in Lagna cannot be cheated. Okay, so don't make the contrary things um, into the knowledge. Okay, what else we can see with the Mercury in the first house is that the person may know a lot of languages, or the person may know a very good language like the English, the business language. He understands very well. He uses all those technical jargons of the business, and he's very good at handling money. He is very good at creating value for those customers, right? The customers will feel that this person is worth more than what actually I'm paying. So the customers will be more happy to pay. Okay. And but he is a witty, he is a lot of merry-making guy because he's a youthful fellow, likes to make do pranks, crack jokes, etc. And then because Mercury was away from his father for quite a longer time, so this person may stay away from the father, may lose a father. However, such things you have to confirm it from the Navamsha and also the Dashamsha. So staying away from father can so happen that the person gets either a college seat or a job away from father. So that can be a possibility. Please do not predict any deaths, etc. of anyone. That will not lead into good things. Please don't do that. The person is constantly anxious about how much money am I going to make. Okay, because Mercury drives the person into a lot of responsibilities, because the person is matured before his age. He has a very good understanding of how money works, and he, no matter how much rich he is or how much middle class he is, he always wants to go to the next level in the money. So there is no end for money, right? There is no stop for it. So he would still rate himself to be poor, and he would keep saying that, look, I have to go to the next league, right? That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong in it. So he'll be anxious about the future, right? Will my investments be okay? Will my job be fine? Will I be able to do more business? How can I grow business? And he takes a lot of guilt on his own self for any mistakes that he has done. Mercury in the second house, there are a few stories of Soma, Rohini, and Varchas. Varchas is the son of Soma, and Soma is reincarnated as Arjuna, and Varchas came down as Abhimanyu, right? So these stories are available. If you want, you can read them. So the person Abhimanyu was raised actually away from these people. He was raised in the Dwarka. So the second house represents that, the childhood of the person. So the person may be raised away from the parents, okay, or the person stays away from the parents in the childhood, most likely, okay, or maybe the child goes into the native goes into hostels, etc. in the school level or college level, okay, and the person uses money from the family, okay. What I've seen with at least 3-4 people with Mercury in the second house is, I'll give you an example. You'll understand it much better. The native is in a business. I'm giving you a by and large example of all the 4 people that I know. The native is in a business. His elder brother walked up to him and said, look, save this money. I'm giving you 10 lakh rupees. Number is just a number. 10 lakh rupees. This is an emergency fund. Just park this inside the savings bank account or some place where we can retrieve money just in case we have an emergency. And I may have some emergency, or I may have to use it maybe 5 to 6 months later on. The native has put this money into a business of his own self or somebody else's business, and want to earn. Why this money has to be parked, right? Because if I put this into savings bank or into the current account gives you 0% interest. Savings bank will give you 4% interest. Fixed, even if I do, I cannot take it out in 6 months. So the best way is, let me put this into a business which I am running right now. So let me run this money. Anyway, in 6 months, I'll be easily able to take this out. If your Mercury is very good, this happens. The person will be able to take that money out, give it back to his brother. Even the brother does not know that this money has got into his business. Okay. However, if the Mercury is afflicted, or the Mercury is having some problem, at least in the Dasha level, so not every time the person will be able to do it, right? If the Dasha is bad, then in that instance, the person gets a problem. Or if the Mercury itself is not very happily placed, do not think exaltation or debilitation is going to help here. Even if there is an exaltation, there can be more problem. Okay. Because the person is actually overestimating things. So it can so happen that an exalted Mercury in the second house, the person thinks, I'll be able to repay it back in the 5 months, but it so happens that it cannot come in the next 15 months. And the elder brother is crazy on this person. I have told you I need this money in the next 6 months. I just asked you to park this number and you have put this into business and you have ruined my whole dream of buying a home. Okay. So this can happen. So do not ever determine by exaltation, debilitation, own house. That does not determine the strength of the planet or better placement of the planet. So for God's sake, please don't do that. The example that I gave is of an exalted Mercury. 3-4 times he was able to do it well. Fourth time he did with a bigger money, and all that money got stuck. I'm not saying that it is lost, but it went into a business wherein, it is not coming out in that particular stipulated time. Okay. So there is anxiety in the family because of that money. And there are mistakes that, as I said, in manipulating that money. So this person went on to say to the brother that, look, I'm very sorry, the money is there with me. I'll give it to you back. I kept it in that bank, this bank. Today it is a holiday. I'll remove it tomorrow. Some or the other story he is trying to say. Okay. And then Mercury in the second house can also cause acne if it is, also the Taurus is spoiled, etc. Because Mercury is the karka for diseases of the skin, right? There can be psoriasis, acne, depending on how the Mercury is, and also look at the Taurus, and also look at the Navamsha placements. Again, I tell you, it has nothing to do with exaltation, debilitation, own house, friend house, nothing like that. You can't generalize it like that. Okay, always use Lagna the first. First is check with respect to Lagna how it is. Also check the Navamsha positions and also check the afflictions that it has got. You may arrive at some understanding, but the more and more you understand it from the nakshatra levels, because I've taught the nakshatras first. Please use nakshatras, then use the planets. Why I'm teaching you these planets is, if you want to give remedies, you need to know what happens with each of these placements. Other than that, don't use first lord in the 8th house, first lord in the 9th house. Rarely they will work. Okay, as far as I have understood, I will still teach them. But if you have to give remedies, you need to know these things. That's why I'm teaching this. Okay, Mercury in the 3rd house. Mercury in the 3rd house. 3rd house is pastimes. Okay, that you learn as pastime thing. That is the 3rd house, as I told you just before. Or it's a skill set. Okay, or it's a craft, or the talent, inherent talent the person has got. Inherent or could be acquired talent based on the age of the person. Okay, and sports, the brothers, neighbors, mobile phones, gadgets, all the names of the person as well is from the 3rd house. You look at the 3rd house, you'll be able to understand how your name is. I mean, if there are people from the lunar astro, the Panchugiri's classes, they'll know how to use the 3rd house to understand what name it can be of the person. Yeah. Although there are a lot of exceptions for it. I'm not a master of it, but what I can understand from here, because anyway, the person will tell you what's his name. So there's no point in actually understanding what his name is. I'm not trying to degrade what the work has been done. I'm trying to tell that 3rd house deals with the names, right? So the Sahasranamas, like the Vishnu Sahasranama and the Lalita Sahasranama, these are some of the remedies that people can practice just in case there is a problem with the 3rd house Mercury. And to be very frank, all the 12 houses Mercury positions may have problems. All the 12 houses Mercury positions may not have problems. Okay, it's for any planet. A planet, let the planet be there anywhere, there can be a problem. Let the planet be there anywhere, there cannot be a problem. I mean to say is, all your planets are in the 6th, 8th, 12th, the person is still very good, does not have any problem, because he is in tune with those planets. For example, if you take the horoscope of Mr. P.V.R. Narasimha Rao, who wrote this Jagannath Horo software, he has 4 planets in the 8th house. Okay, this man is a research scientist in astrology. He has very good research interests. Okay, so he is using his 8th house for the betterment of his life. So now he does not have any problem. Okay, there can be someone who's not using 8th house at all. For such people, there can be a problem, right? It depends on the karma of the person, but just not merely having a planet in the 8th house is going to give you a problem. Planet in the 6th house is going to give you a problem is wrong. Please don't conclude like that. You will be in a problem if you're doing that. If anybody does that, please get out of that. Don't do it. You can understand what the result is from the nakshatras. If you want to understand how your married life is, just use the cusp of the 7th house. Okay, just look at the Lagna degrees, use the same degrees in the 7th house. Look at what nakshatra it is. I have done 2 hours of lecture on each nakshatra, and each, if it falls in this, now I'm talking about the 7th house. So each nakshatra in the 7th house, you can see that result. And look at the 7th Lord's dispositor. Okay, take the nakshatra of the 7th Lord's dispositor, not the 7th Lord at all. 7th Lord can be anywhere. Let him be there. Let him be there in the 12th house or even out of the horoscope. But what you should look at is look at that 7th Lord, where he is placed. Take that Rashi Lord, look at that nakshatra, read that nakshatra. You will have the theme of your 7th house. Okay, from where you will understand your business, you'll understand what talents you possess that can be shown in front of an audience, and also you can understand about your married life, and also many more things that can come from your 7th house. By and large, you can have that theme ready and then look at all other things. Do not just go by 7th Lord is in the 12th house, 7th Lord debilitated. They don't work. Okay. I keep emphasizing on this. Please bear with me if you're very old in the class, but I want to keep saying this again and time and again. Okay, so addressing everybody as brother, sister, this is the first identity of the thing at the office. Okay, the person, everybody calls everybody bro. Okay, calls everyone sis. So he has a very mercurial thing. Could be in the Lagna, or he could be, I mean, the Mercury could be in the Lagna, could be in the 3rd house. Both the person can call, bro, sis, okay, or, just say in Hindi, he may say kaka, chacha, he doesn't use the name. He calls everybody by some or the other relationship, right? Merrymaking, the person is very interested in cutting jokes, pranks, lot of merrymaking. He could be, I mean, by appearance, he may look very, very, very non-serious. Okay, and he may appear as if he's not studying at all. But this person is actually studied it in one go. Okay, he could be very talkative. He could be wasting a lot of time. Okay, who could be separated from spouse. Okay, again, I say you separated from the spouse just because 3rd house Mercury and you have concluded separation from spouse. That's bad. Please don't do it. Always look at least from 5-6 places it has to come, and also look at Navamsha and also look at Dasha. All 4 have to work. That is when you will see separation from spouse. Otherwise, what happens is this guy gets a job elsewhere. He lives maybe in the Bombay or in the New York, and the wife is here. Okay, it can so happen like that. And there can be loss of money or loss of inheritance, because inheritance is in the 8th house. From wherever Mercury is in the 8th from, I mean, Mercury is in the 8th, is in the 3rd house. It is in the 8th from the 8th house. So there can be loss of inheritance, or the brother may say, the elder brother may say, look, I'm not going to give you any inheritance. Go away. Okay. So this can be a possibility. However, I have done nakshatras like Purva Phalguni, Uttara Phalguni, etc., which deal exclusively on inheritance, and also a few more nakshatras like Dhanishta, Satabhisha, and stuff like that. Maybe you have to read all those and see how the inheritance is all working. Okay, just in case the question is an inheritance. Merely not place Mercury in the 3rd and say, oh wow, your inheritance is gone. Doesn't work like that. Please don't do such things. Overreacting to words from people. Okay, this is what Mercury in the 3rd house does. If somebody says a small word, okay, he makes it so big, he blows it out, and he makes a mess out of it. Okay, and then Mercury in the 4th house. Mercury usually is not very comfortable in the 4th house. He usually spoils the 4th house. It's not a very good placement for the Mercury in the 4th house. Okay, especially for mother. Okay, especially for comforts like home, vehicles, etc. The mother is actually could be a lot hardworking. The mother is actually bringing up the children too much. She has a lot of responsibilities, etc. Or the mother is not there. Okay, if everything is fine on the mother's side, there can be some or the other problem while he's acquiring a home or while he's changing cities, because these days people are traveling too much, right? So one city to another city, one home to another home, there is a problem. When he changes a car, there is a problem. Such things, because Mercury is not very comfortable with moon thing. Okay, he dislikes the moon. So he creates some or the other nuisance whenever the 4th house thing activates. When do you activate the 4th house? You have a mother with you. You activate it. You change your home, you activate it. You change your car, you activate it, right? So whenever this happens, that can be a possibility. And relief from diseases or relief from everything. I mean, 4th house is the house of comforts. So whenever you're trying to relax, even then the Mercury comes into play, right? So maybe let's suppose you have been working and suddenly you thought, let me take a break for 2 years. Okay, so that's a relief thing for you, and Mercury immediately kicks in the 4th house, brings some or the other tension for you if he's in the 4th house, or even if he's in the 10th house, because wherever Mercury is, Mercury aspects the house opposite to it, right? So you may have to read those significations as well to clearly understand what the Mercury is doing. So when we read out the 10th house, we can understand even the 10th house as well. So Mercury in the 5th house. Okay, Mercury is a two thing. Okay, Mercury may deny you progeny. I have done a complete article on childlessness. Okay, childlessness. I have done a complete article. You have to read the whole article. All of those points match. That is when there will be childlessness. Okay. The trigger point is Saturn and Mercury being in the 5th house. Okay, or Saturn is the owner, Mercury stays there. Mercury is the owner, Saturn stays there. But even then you may have children. Okay, even then you may have children. But this is not a very good combination to have Saturn and Mercury in the 5th house. However, it could be a very good combination if you have children. So do you have children or not can be checked up from childlessness. All right. If Mercury is there, it is also a multiplier. So it may have many children. Okay. So it's a little tricky with the Mercury, right? Mercury gives multiplicity. So one may have many children. Or you treat a lot of children as your children, right? And then very good subordinates you may have. So many multiple degrees you may have, because 5th house deals with the degrees. 5th house deals with the degrees that you have. And 5th house is about the wisdom as well. So the person can be very wise. The person is doing a lot of promises, because 5th house is about promises, multiple promises. Will he be able to deliver it or not will depend on many things. You have to look at how the sun is placed, because sun is the cause of promises. So you have to look at how the sun is placed. Is the sun able to help Mercury to deliver those promises or not? And then Mercury is not a planet who can allow love matters. Okay, usually what happens is Mercury is very focused on the practicality of the person. Let's suppose you talk to anyone who is in love, who fell in love. He would say, you ask him why did he fall in love? He'll give you 100 reasons, which are very what is that? Very emotional. He would never say these are those practical reasons I fell in love. However, they may seem that the person is explaining as if they're practical, but they're still very emotional reasons. Mercury does not have any emotions. Mercury will try to mix up money as well there. So if the person falls in love, he may be falling in love because the girl or the boy, for that matter, the other person is very good in the class, okay, or gets very good rank or very rich, or very focused on career, okay, etc. But these people will start complaining after the because somewhere some logic comes out, and they'll not be able to, because Mercury does not show any emotion. Mercury does not show any mercy, right? Mercury wants money. Mercury wants upliftment in life. Love is not like that. Love is a compromise. Marriage is a compromise, right? Anybody you talk to anyone who is married, they would say, look, life is a compromise, right? Because Venus also rules the water, right? So it's just the emotion that ties you up with that woman, right? You have Mercury in the sixth house. Mercury in the sixth house, it can give you good service as an employment. It can also spoil employment and push you into business because you think you can solve a lot more problems much better than the current company. So why not I start my own company? This is especially true if it is in the D10. Okay, so always, if you're talking about profession, please don't do it from the D1. You may still understand the basic thing, as I said, from the nakshatras of the 10th cusp, 10th lord dispositor. Don't use 10th lord at all. And from there, you may have a basic idea of, okay, how the job is and what direction the job has to go. And from there, go to the D10 directly. And then ensure that your birth time is fairly accurate. Otherwise, the Lagna changes very rapidly in D10 also. Okay. And based on what he is doing, you can understand. I'll anyway teach you. I have done a video, basic video on D10. Right now, one video is available on D10. That's hugely hugely informative. Please go through it. You'll understand about the 10th house thing. Sixth house Mercury also is looking at solving a lot of problems. Okay. The best part of sixth house Mercury is deep diving into something, deep diving into the problems, trying to understand why this problem came and to avoid the problem. Like usually when we were doing the ISO thing in the office, when we were getting certified for the ISO long back 25 years ago, when the ISO was very new, when the quality plan, etc., were made, if some non-conformity is raised by the auditor, what we do is we always change the standard operating procedure and try to ensure that, again, the non-conformity does not come. Okay, so these are those things the person is very focused on and anticipates where the problem may come and tries to solve it even before the problem comes. Okay, some NC is raised, and he will look at that non-conformity and say, look, even this process may also have the same non-conformity if he audits for the next time. So let me correct that procedure as well and take that as a corrective action. Okay, so these are those things Mercury is looking at. Talking more than necessary is, as I said, so he has to address only that NC, but now what he has done, he has put on more job onto him and to the company, saying, look, even that process is bad. Let me address that as well. This is a sign of a very good Mercury. Okay. For that point in time, the company may say, look, why have you overloaded or overburdened yourself? But later on, as they can avoid non-conformities, they'll be happy for him. Okay. This can, when you're dealing with this Mercury in the sixth house, on personal note, okay, when somebody is trying to understand on the personal note, then there can be some problems. Why he is going so deep into something, okay, why he is analyzing my problem so deeply. Okay, so these can be some of the negative sides of the sixth house Mercury. So the person is going a lot deeper than what actually is necessary. This can be a problem because it can be time consuming, and sometimes it is unnecessary to give such a deep dive, because the problem is on the surface. It is easy to address it on the surface. Okay. And then Mercury in the seventh. This also is a tricky placement. Mercury in the seventh house, for that matter, any planet in the seventh house is bad, including exalted Jupiter or very good Jupiter. Any planet in the seventh house is bad than no planet in the seventh house. Okay. This is a very generic word, generic sentence. Okay. Don't exaggerate this. So any planet in the seventh house is bad, as I said. Mercury is a planet. I think I've talked through this in the last class as well, but I will just try to emphasize on this thing once again. Mercury as a planet is a kid, right? So that's why seventh house Mercury is called as Maranakarak Sthana. That means a kid has no job to do in the seventh house usually, because it's a grown-up people thing. Marriage happens only to grown-up people, and keeping sexual relationships is also for the grown-up people, and kids don't understand that. That's why Mercury has a Maran Karak there. So some people may complain and say, look, if it's the business house, why Mercury is uncomfortable there? Because Mercury is a person who is in competition. Who is in competition. He doesn't want anybody else to win. Okay, he wants to win. Business does not happen like that. Business, you look at all those developed countries, and they have coined a term about 25, 30 years ago called win-win. It means both the parties have to win. You have to win, and your customer also has to win, right? That is why the Libra is a balance, right? Libra, both sides have to win. Mercury doesn't realize that. Mercury always thinks, I have to win. So if I have to win, somebody else has to lose, right? He would be very good in places where, you have a competitive exam and he has to stand first in the class, right? But Mercury is not very great to, there is a contract bidding happening and you have to win the contract for your company. Mercury is very good there, right? You're selling a product to a customer, a Mercury is not very good there because he's trying to win over the customer, right? Hope you've understood the difference, what I'm trying to say. So that's why the seventh house Mercury is considered bad. However, seventh house Mercury is a very good thing for the business because he's trying to understand what the customer wants and he's trying to give it to the customer because he wants money. His prime objective as Mercury is to get money. Okay, if the Mercury understands with little maturity, maybe in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years, oh, it's not competition anymore, but I have to make my customers win. Oh, I'm fresh out of college. It was competition till date. So let me understand now what newly the customer wants. Oh, okay. So even the customer has to win and I have to also win. Okay. It's very good for business. The person learns business very quickly, tries to adapt a lot of things in the business and then improves the business. In the marriage thing, what happens is the person dislikes to be controlled because spouse is exercising some control over the person, or there is competition between these two people, okay, the couple. One is trying to compete against the other like they do in the class, okay? So that's why there is this issue. Depending on depending on the other combinations you have to see. And also what we can understand from other people also is that calling each other by nicknames can actually activate Mercury more. And if there is a problem in the marriage happening, calling each other by the nicknames will further, exaggerate the problem, and that can lead into a divorce. Okay, so do not take here exalted Mercury will help or a known house Mercury will help. Always use the nakshatras. Actually, the exalted Mercury or the own house Mercury will do more damage. Okay, more damage. However, you have to look at the Navamsha to confirm things. There is enough material available that I have posted on this website. You can go to Navamsha and understand some combinations. However, a lot of videos were done on the Navamsha for Telugu side, not much on the English. We will soon do after the planets are over. So just hold your horses. I know a lot of questions will come, but don't conclude it with just merely Mercury in the seventh. But due to any unfortunate circumstances, if the person went out for a divorce, okay, with the Mercury in the seventh house, the case is going to go for a long time. Each person is actually putting a lot of cases on the other side. Okay. Mercury in the eighth house. Eighth house deals with, night, right? That's where the sun sets, correct? So eighth house deals with the night. So eighth house deals with the transformation, and eighth house deals with spying. Okay. Eighth house deals with long-term diseases. So the person can be somebody who is looking at long-term solutions for his problems, his family's problems, because Mercury in the eighth house will aspect the second house also. Or Mercury in the eighth house can represent the problems of their in-laws, or the person is trying to utilize the money of the in-laws in a proper way, and it is very channelized, and he is trying to understand the best way I know a girl who has got 8th house Mercury. She plans so well with her salary and her husband's salary. She has bought so many properties, and she always keeps directing her husband. Look, don't worry on the money. This money is enough to run the family. We let us invest all this money, wisely onto either into a land or buying stocks or whatever. So, 8th house is the in-laws. So Mercury is money. So handling that money of the in-laws or the family that she belongs to. Okay. It can also mean inheritance as well. Okay. So it can also mean, trying to earn money while dealing with a change. It could be a person who is, burning a pyre um, in the Shamshan Ghat, like the burial ground, or it could be a person who is working at night shifts, okay? Because 8th house can be night as well. So, or it can be a person who is doing a spy job. Even in the, there'll be a few people in the HR, who work like spies, okay? And they inform the management that, look, this is what is happening in the office and all that stuff, right? So it is the 8th house Mercury, because Mercury can be speech as well. So informing or talking about the 8th house things or hidden things, unknown things to the management. Okay, because Mercury wants his company to do well, right? Wherever Mercury sits, in whichever organization he is, he wants to help with that house. So if your Mercury is in the 8th house, you would want your company you would want your company with your 8th house skills. That is spying. Okay, or dealing with a change. Let's suppose, there are a lot of people, today's software engineers are dealing with migrations from platform to another platform. This person, whenever he deals with this migration, right, his salary is going to increase. And he's an expert on dealing with the change, right? Mercury in the 9th house. So wherever Mercury is, there's a lot of mistakes that can happen with that house. So be careful and do not become stingy. Do not become selfish, because Mercury is a selfish planet. It wants to come first there. Okay. Especially in case of 9th, we will talk about it, but it's especially available. It's especially competes with anything that is there in that house. So in the 3rd house competes with the brothers. 5th house competes with children. 4th house competes with mother. 2nd house competes with the family. Like as I said, my brother has more money, so he has given it to me. Let me use that money and give it back to him. It didn't work. Okay, so Mercury tries to do mistakes there in that house. So try to avoid that selfishness where Mercury is. Mercury is selfish. Okay, everybody will have selfishness. Okay, at some or the other level, try to avoid that. It's not easy, because Mercury is changeable. Whenever you hear very good words, you will feel like avoiding it. But once you fall into the trap of the samsara, obviously you will go back and do the same karma, because Virgo is the most karmic sign. Virgo is where the Mercury exalts, and look at the nakshatra in which Mercury exalts. The 15 degrees that falls in Hasta nakshatra. Hasta is hands. With your hands, you are doing your karma. The most karmic sign that can bring you problems which are unsolvable is all from Mercury. That is why a lot of educated astrologers will say that Mercury cannot be remedied, right? Because Mercury is buddhi. What do you remedy for a buddhi? You have to tell it to your buddhi, please don't behave like this. But will it stand like that? It's like the dog's tail. It keeps curved always. No matter how much ever you straighten it, it goes back into that curvature once again. So just be careful wherever your Virgo is and wherever your Mercury is. That is where you will commit a lot of sins knowingly, just because you want to win, right? Just because you want to win. You want to be competitive there. Otherwise, it's a do or die situation for me. My family can survive only by killing it. Okay. So just be careful. In case of 9th house Mercury, father can be youthful. Okay, a father can be youthful. What does it mean is, your father could be the youngest amongst all the kids of his his siblings. Okay, So he may be the youngest in the family, right? And then you may have many gurus, right? You must have learned the subject from many people. So while you do that, the biggest problem with the ninth house Mercury is if you don't regard from whomever you have learned, and if you have forgotten them, and if you don't quote them, that is a problem. That is going to bring in a lot of karma. Okay, so ninth house, fifth house, or wherever your Mercury is, just try to please that Mercury using a Jupiter or something and tell it to the Mercury. So there is nothing wrong in acknowledging people, whoever have taught you. Mercury, please calm down. You can still win the race. Okay, it is not every time about the winning, right? And Mercury is absolutely practical. Okay, ninth house is the religion, right? What does the religion say is religion, you follow any religion, okay? If you're not an atheist and if you're following any religion, look at those the principles in the religion. There will be so many things that you are, denied to do. If you take a religion might say, do not drink alcohol. Your religion might say, depending on the religion, the religion might say, please do not, talk to your neighbors. I'm just throwing up, okay? I'm just making it up. I'm just giving easier examples so that you will understand. Mercury will challenge all that. Mercury will say, why? Because, okay, there is God. Then Mercury would say, show me, where is the God? Because Mercury is practical, earthly guy. Look, he's not visible to me, so I cannot believe it. Okay, it becomes very difficult for people in the ninth house to believe anything which is not logical. Difficult. Okay, so if they believe, if they start to feel that yes, this exists as a god or something outside, your hands as well, something exists, because hasta is where the Mercury exalts, and he thinks everything is there in your hasta. That means it's in your hands. Okay, but if he tries to understand that above the hasta there is something called as Uttarabhadra, okay, because just opposite to hasta there is Uttarabhadra. That is where the Mercury is debilitating. I've talked about all this in the previous lecture. You can go back and listen to it once again. Okay, Mercury realizes that what is this deep ocean and where are we going and how deep is this? Okay, I cannot drill down much into the soil, but why in the water I'm drowning and I'm able to go so deep so easily, and I'm not able to breathe. Where is the air? Where is the gold? Where is the money? Okay, so this, and where is the sunlight? Because underneath the water there is no sunlight, right? And there are organisms living and swimming. Mercury does not know swimming, right? So these are all those things which Mercury is not able to understand, contemplate, etc. At the shore, he thinks, okay, the sea has water. Okay, water is on the surface. Does not know how deep is the sea, right? All right. Hope I'm able to, deliver whatever I'm thinking properly. But you may still have to contemplate it for yourself and understand what Mercury really is. Because certain things you can describe to an extent with the language. But there are so many things, when you close your eyes, you can imagine those things, and those things are more easier to understand. That's what Jupiter is all about. Okay. And practical preaches equality. Let's suppose, please do not take any offense in this. I'm only trying to explain from a religion standpoint. Okay, I'm neither vouching for this nor I'm against for this. I'm actually a neutral for this. Okay, assuming go back about 300 years ago, there was this system of you can do only your father's work. Okay, if you're a Brahmin, you can be a Brahmin. That's it. Okay, if you're a potter, you could be a potter. Today it's not that, right? That's why I'm saying Mercury is growing day by day, right? So Mercury preaches equality. Anybody can become anything with practice, right? But Jupiter keeps coming back and saying, no matter how much ever do, the person who has that inherent talent and whoever learns from the home, right? In olden days, what happened? If you're a Brahmin, you will teach your kids right at that fifth year, seventh year onwards, or right from the birth itself, he will know a few slokas, mantras, everything. After the Upanayana, all those kriya, karma, everything they were being taught. Today, you go. I mean, there are a few places where any caste people can go and learn Vedas, etc. But when you're a kid, right, you can improve your what is that pronunciation, etc. But once you're grown up, it becomes very difficult if you're not well versed with the Sanskrit at a child level. Okay, so this is what Jupiter comes back and says: no matter how much ever you push, unless you have some talent internally or inherently by birth, it becomes very difficult. Okay, but Mercury will say, oh, okay, then why not you put your children on the very first day into a Brahmin thing? Okay, so this is how Mercury comes back and challenges. Okay, no offense to anyone. Please do not ever think, you know, hope you understood why to describe that. Okay, curious to learn, because curious to learn on the religious aspects of the religion. Could be multiple religions knowledge, how our fathers or forefathers were living, etc. Very anxious about future. Could be committing mistakes or sins in the ninth house that can be insults to father, could be insults to the gurus or anything. So try to avoid such things. Okay, just do not try to prove a point in front of gurus, etc. These are those important things that one should not do. Mercury in the 10th house. He has very good skills of hand, because Mercury is a person who has very good communication skills. One is communication, the other one is some skill set. Either could be a skill set which uses hands, or a skill set which he is very good at. Okay, not necessarily every time hands, because a lot of times now, if your intelligence, okay, in the days to come, the more intelligent you are, more actually you're capable of. So Mercury has such a talent. He may have all the skill set to start a business, but somehow he's forced into work, or a work where he's not very comfortable. He wants always to change that work. Okay, or he wants to bring a change in the work. I'm not very he may be earning 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs, but he'll still keep saying, look, there is something that I'm very unhappy about the work. I want to change the work. Okay, because he thinks there should be a win every day. Every day you cannot win. You will have bad days and you will have good days, and wherever Mercury is there, you want to win there, right? So which sometimes is a difficult thing. This fellow is extremely skillful, and he's not afraid of communicating with anyone. He will do a very good communication with everyone. Most times he's underpaid, because he wants less risks in life. Okay, because see, Mercury is a kid, does not want to take risks. He wants to be successful in business. He wants to eat that fruit of the business. Okay, because if he stabilizes a business, what he can think is, okay, there is a lot of free time for me. I can think of more businesses. I can add up more and more money into me. Okay, but he needs, if he is in a job for some reason, then he cannot leave that job, because he needs, okay, what if I'm I'm unsuccessful? Okay, what if I could not do well in the business? Then that will be a problem. So let me not start a business at all. Or even if I start a business, then somehow find a way to keep that monthly revenue coming. I mean, monthly income that comes to me, so that I can meet my expenses. Okay, and also meet my savings that I'm currently doing. All right. Mars in the 11th house. Sorry, I forgot to write Mercury in both these places. It's Mercury in the 11th house and Mercury in the 12th house. It's a typo error. I'll correct it later on. So Mercury in the 11th house, Parashara always said any planet in the 11th house is very good. So same is the case with Mercury. Very good for what? Keeping in mind the kings. So the kings will earn a lot of money. Okay. So keeping that in mind. So it is very good for earning money, but it is also very self-centered, very selfish people. That can be a problem, because 11th house represents what your friends, your elder brothers, your extended family, kith and kin, all that will come in the 11th house. Family, friends, everyone come in the 11th house. So the person is trying to make, as I said, in the second house, just read the second house. Similar thing he will try to do with these people as I've just described. So then there will be a problem. So they will say, why did you use our money, etc., and all that. But still, he will try to find ways. If required, he may get into, being going into fraud things, etc. So just be careful. If you have 11th house Mercury, it's very good for money, but refrain from doing frauds or trying to be very selfish on money, all that stuff. Mercury in the 12th house, not a very great placement for people who want to earn money. However, that is from the Parashara's understanding, but today the world has changed. If you travel to US, you can earn more, right? So 12th house represents travels. So 12th house, Mercury, staying away from family, going away from family will give you a lot of money, okay? So Mercury is money. So you will get opportunities outside of your wherever your parents are living or where your family is there, okay, depending on the age that you are in. And or it can so happen that you are doing something which you are very afraid of to be shared in the public. You're doing something, and depending on what houses the Mercury is owning or what aspects the Mercury is getting, the person is afraid of something, and he does not want to share it in the public. That is why the Mercury is in the 12th house, and he has fears around it. Okay, by and large, I have covered all the 12 houses that Mercury can be and what results you will get. Anybody has any questions or any feedback that you want to give? I'll be happy to listen. Thank you.
Sir, I had a question.
Sir, okay. Please, ma'am, go ahead.
Ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I wanted to know, like, Mercury owns two houses,
Yeah,
both Gemini and Virgo,
correct.
and it will be sitting somewhere in the chart, maybe first house, second house, third house, anywhere.
Yeah.
So while making a prediction or while understanding what the Mercury is doing, do we take significations like traits of both the houses? Since it owns two houses, like how do we do that, sir?
Okay. I think this is the first class of yours. So I
Yes.
do not use any of the houses. Okay. I simply use the nakshatras and get 90% of the result from there. So all that I am trying to teach here is forget what houses it is owning. If it is placed in these houses, no matter what houses it owns, if it is placed in these houses, your understanding is close to it. Okay. No, let's suppose Mercury in the second house, even if it owns 11th house and 8th house, also will have similar traits. Okay. The intensity will change. Okay.
Okay, sir. And so one question from the first class. Actually, I was just seeing Ashwini. You said that Ashwini gives result only in its dasha.
Anything will give it only mostly
Yeah.
in its dasha
Yeah.
for
So
that
like,
matter.
so dasha, like how do we see the dasha? Like any
I'll tell
plan?
you, I've not taught anything on the dasha yet. I'm
Okay,
still
sir.
on the significations.
Okay, sir.
Please
Okay.
bear with.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Nago, you had a question.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused on when you said in Mercury 11th, actually, uh, he does not want to take risks and will not be much interested in doing business.
No.
But that's no.
No. What I meant is Mercury in the 11th house is okay. I'll give you an example. I know a friend of mine who said he has he has an exalted Mercury in the 11th house. It's a Scorpio ascendant, 11th house, exalted Mercury. I'm not dealing with any other planets right now. There are other planets that influences this, but I'm looking at Mercury in isolation now. although the whole thing will come up with the aspects and the conjunctions that the Mercury is making, and also about the D10 that you have to look at to make that final conclusion of the prediction. Is that the right now I'm teaching only this right now, so I'm limiting that there. Okay, so
Sure,
the
sure.
guy said okay, let's join together. So he has found 2-3 more people like-minded. They joined together to start up a business, and this man said, look, I need money because I need to run my family. I need money right from the first day. I'm bringing in a few technical, what is the technical knowledge and technical skills along with me. So I'm getting right now 2 lakh rupee as a salary because we are all uniting. Anyway, you all also are resigning your jobs and starting a company. But I would be the backbone of the company because I'm getting the technical expertise, which most of you completely don't have, although you may have a little, but I would be the backbone. So let me have that. I'm getting 2 lakhs, so let me have that 1.5 lakh being paid from the company's exchequer every month. You guys will not get any salary. At the start of the thing, they said, okay, fine, but anyway, we'll make business in the next 4 or 5 months. So first 4 or 5 months, okay, we'll still pay. Fine. And the business started, and there was nothing written down rules. Okay. So the guy, when the business started, but no sale, no revenue happened for the next 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 months. The guy completely insisted on paying him. Okay. So this can be a possibility. Understood? Or your question itself was not this?
I'm trying to understand. I mean,
Not understood, sir. Please repeat.
Okay, I didn't understand the question. So what I said is,
no, whether Mercury.
the person can be very self-centered and selfish. That can be a possibility also in the 11th house or the 10th house. What was your question? Actually, I didn't. So I'm very sorry. I did not hear your question at all.
Yeah. So whether as a trait of Mercury, whether he will be interested to start a business, because I that's what I tried. I somehow understood when Mercury was in 6th, wherein the efforts that one keeps, he will think that actually rather than doing a job, let me set up a business. But on the 11th, when it comes to 11th, you said he will not be inclined to take a business. So that's where I got a little bit confused. What
Did
is
I say
actual
that?
trait of
I'm very sorry. If I said that, I'm very sorry. I take back my words. Even in the 11th house, it will set up a business. Wherever Mercury is, Mercury wants to do business there.
Okay.
Okay.
But he's not willing to take risks as well.
I'll tell you. Okay, I'll explain that. Okay, that part was missing. Let me explain that. So Mercury is a logical fellow. Okay, Mercury thinks I have to win. Others are winning or not is not my cup of tea. Okay, they have to think for themselves.
Okay.
So now, if I'm starting a business in partnership, I'll emphasize that look, I am losing most. So let me get that money, whatever money I'm getting in the salary. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay, he will ensure that he is safe. That is Mercury. Now, if he is starting it alone, then he cannot ensure it that he is safe, right? If there are partners, then he can say that, look, you please pay me the money. There are no partners, and if he is individually doing it, then he's more afraid because he's individually, he has to do it. Then he will think, let me think, okay, how much of money is there in my bank? Okay, I have got 40 lakhs. Is 40 lakhs enough for so many days? If he feels that it is enough, he'll start it. Otherwise, he'll not take that risk of losing that monthly salary. Understood? Or still not understood?
Well, understood.
Yeah.
So there is a
Mercury
chance
a
of deceit
logical
as well
fellow.
in that case.
Yes, defeat can be there anytime, right? Defeat or
Deceit. I mean,
deceit. Deceit can also be there. Mercury can deceive. Mercury and Moon are the biggest deceivers. Biggest cheaters are Mercury and Moon, because if you have to cheat someone, it is your manas and your buddhi will tell you, please cheat. There is no problem. In the past, so many people have cheated. You're not the first one to cheat. And you're actually not cheating because you are actually trying to earn it for yourself. So it's not cheating. You have a family to feed. There is a logical reason why I'm cheating, right? Any thief will have a reason. Same as Mercury. Mercury is very tricky. It will not come over 1 minute or 2 minutes. Mercury and Moon are very, very difficult planets to understand. You will be looking at Saturn, Mars, Rahu and all that stuff for cheating, or you being cheated, or for that matter, you cheating someone. Both are the majority of the responsibility lies with the manas, because first, suppose a lot of people report online frauds, right? They'll say, look, I've been cheated. What they will do is, they will show them some Ponzi scheme wherein they'll say, look, you will earn 1 crore rupees in 15 days, right? The manas will say, oh, wow, let me go and do it, right? That is when he'll be cheated. Do you agree?
Yep.
If you don't fall for it, then you cannot be cheated, right? Okay, anyway, there can be a theft or something, something can go off because of misfortune, etc. They are different things. I'm talking about logic and Moon, right? Logic is Mercury, Moon is again the same thing, emotional connect to the money or the comforts that you may earn with sudden money.
Understood. Thank you. Yep.
Great. Somebody else also said, I did not understand. Understood? You have a follow?
Yes, sir. I said that yes, now I do.
Okay.
And regarding the what was he asking? Risk thing, he said, na? Ki
Mercury is
Mercury
logical.
want
Mercury is
logical.
fake.
Yes, but
Mercury is
I'll
so does not want to take risk. No darkness he likes. He
like
debilitates
what.
in 12th house. So darkness he does not like.
Yes, he'll matlab, whatever seems risk to others, that is not the risk to Mercury, because he'll just foresee all the pitfalls through his skills first.
Right.
Yes, so he'll always have a plan to run, even if risk arrives at the doorstep. He'll always have the plan number 2, 3, 4 ready.
No,
So
okay. I'll help you with that. On the money backup thing, right? Mercury is money as well. So if you have enough backup of money, the more he can take the risk, and more he will risk as well, because I have more backup. Let me risk more, because the more the risk is, the reward is. Okay. Even if you're investing in the stocks, what people would say is the more the riskier it is, the more rewarding it is. Correct?
but a good Mercury, I think, sir, will not do that. It will minimize the risk rather than.
Not necessary. He knows that he's only going to win.
Yeah, and that he can be very sure of.
Yeah,
Yes, you are
he'll
correct.
know that. He will know that I will win, because the market is like that. So the trend is like this. So it has been falling for so many days. There's a very good calculation that he makes.
Yes, analytical abilities. Yes,
And
they are there.
95% of the times he wins. So 5%
But
anyway, there is risk.
I think that would be considered as a bad Mercury because it's going on the greed side. But if somebody,
Don't generalize, okay? Mercury is too difficult to generalize.
yes, you are right.
Because
It
Mercury
is
keeps
difficult.
improving every day.
Hmm.
Mercury is the
Okay.
third lord and the sixth lord, so it keeps improving. And it keeps going against the ninth and the 12th lord. Ninth house is fortune. Jupiter keeps saying, look, you don't have the fortune. Mercury will say, let me analyze. Why fortune?
Yes, that is a
Why
very
fortune?
big.
Okay.
Yes.
12th house.
What fortune?
Yeah. Why fortune? 12th house is hope. Okay, just keep doing what you're doing, and 12th house is the hope. So Jupiter will keep saying, keep praying, someday God will help you. Mercury will say, why keep praying? 6th house is there, let me work.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
So
Now understood.
So does that also mean that wherever Mercury is placed in anybody's chart, the traits of that Mercury can change over the period of time,
Yes.
despite staying in the same house?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The person will keep doing mistakes in that house only. And
And
he
then
will keep
learning.
doing those mistakes again and again. He will keep learning there again and again. Because wherever you're working, there only you can do the mistakes, right? And Mercury likes to work, likes to improve. If you want to improve something, that is when it will go wrong. Otherwise, it will keep going as it is. Let us suppose people are 1 second, Ustad. Let me just clear this. Let us suppose people are riding a bicycle. Bicycle was invented. People kept on riding a bicycle, and they're very happy with the bicycle because at least they are avoiding walking. And somebody came up and said, let me introduce a motorbike. Okay. So it is an improvement. That is what the Mercury is looking at. Yeah, Ustad. So while making that bike, there can be a lot of failures. After that, the bike comes out. Yeah, Ustad.
So you said, and the mistakes will be deliberate. Like he'll also know about it. Whoever is committing the
Sometimes,
mistake.
let us suppose if he's cheating, right? He will prove a point that I'm not cheating, and he'll cheat. I would say it's a good Mercury for earthly thing, but it's a bad Mercury if you're a saintly person. It depends on who you are, right? If let us suppose I'm looking at it from a sage point of view, from the Parashara point of view, it's a bad Mercury. But if you have to win in the election and you are a politician, then you have to do something and win the election, right? It happens everywhere, all across the globe.
So, in Mercury's mind, Mercury might not be wrong. That's what you are saying.
Correct.
So, how does that become deliberate? I don't understand.
Because Mercury feels that it is right, and doing a fraud is right. From a
So, in
saintly,
that,
see, it's very simple. Yeah. If you have to win an election,
hmm.
okay, you have to be politically right. You may be morally wrong.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Now I get it, but it's still not put
That's very
downable into
deepest
words.
aspect of Mercury. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The deepest
Yes, yes, it
aspect of
is.
Mercury is politically right, morally wrong.
Hmm.
Okay.
Morally wrong. That's right. Now that's the thing. Morally wrong. Okay.
But
I think.
somebody who has a very good Jupiter will keep saying, no, morally this is wrong. Let me not do it. Okay. And he will actually stay at a very lower plane. And the person who does not have a great Jupiter aspect on the Mercury, he will say everything is right. What is moral here? What am I doing wrong? I'm only projecting myself. What is wrong in this? No. You're actually adding up those statements which you did not even do. And you're claiming that, look, I have done this and that and that and this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, and I do.
Yeah.
So it is morally, ethically, and socially. It might be wrong,
So many aspects you can look at.
but from self point, I mean the individual
Yes.
point, it might be right.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That is what Mercury is, and that is what Earth is all about.
Very
See,
nice point. Very
at
nice
one
point.
point in time, marrying 5 people was allowed. Today, marrying 5 people is not allowed. Go back 100 years ago, any person can marry any number of women, right? Polygamy was there. Today, it is not allowed because there is a constitution in place and it denies it. So is that morally, politically? So now you go, there will be socially. It changes from place to place, right? Are you able to understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, totally.
Yeah. So in one community, getting married again and again to many people is not right. Is not right. It can be right in some other community, which is acceptable for them. So that is why dharma changes from time to time. Dharma changes based on kala, desha, patra, everything. And Mercury says if something is changing, the Sagittarius is the most changing thing. It is a Dvisobhava Rasi and the most powerful sign. And the rules are always changing. Why are these so changing? That means somebody is actually driving a change. Let me drive that change. Let me become the Jupiter. I will establish my rules. Right?
Right.
That is how it is.
But there is a follow-up question. You said Jupiter is the most Dvisabhav Rasi.
Yeah.
And that is But Mercury is associated with Dvisabhav. How come Jupiter is also associated?
That is what, see, uh, you go to all the significations of ninth house. The ninth house significations are all dual. Like, uh, or the 12th house significations are only hope. Your mother will tell you who your father is, right? Otherwise, you will not know who your father is. So father is just a hope. Oh, he is my father, hopefully. That is what the person will feel if you deep dive and understand it. For sure, the kid will know who the mother is. That is where it starts. And also, there will be so many teachers in your life that will teach you. That is Jupiter. It's not just one teacher. So many teachers will teach you. That is why it is a multiple thing. There are so many religions that you know about, right? A religion is a fixed thing that comes from your father, but you can change your religion in due course of time, right? So it is Dvisvabhava. It is both Sthira and also Chara. I think these are those things which I think this man, Deepanshugiri, has explained in his classes. That's why I recommend, I mean, just in case if you want to polish these things, take that course. I mean, if you can afford it, it's a little expensive one, but one has to.
I cannot afford the time, sir. Maybe
Oh,
I can
wow.
afford the money, but time is a constraint.
Wow. Okay. You have not enough time. My God. Okay.
Yes, sir. That is the problem. Else I would have taken. I have seen a lot of his videos, but this Dvisabhav thing I could not understand
Yeah.
of
Now you
Jupiter.
understood. Now you
Not
understood.
not fully, but okay.
You take any signification of that, it will be like neither sthira nor chara. Chara means changeable. Sthira means cannot be changed. You know this, right?
I get that.
Yeah. So a religion that comes from your father, but you can still change it if you want.
Hmm.
Teacher, if you
Okay.
do not like the teacher, you can change your school, right?
Hmm.
Similarly, any of those significations are all Dvisvabhava. Are you hopeful or not? You will always stay on the first, in the center line. You are neither hopeful nor hopeless. You're always in the center.
Hmm.
You take any of those significations of the 12th house or the 9th house, they're all half moving and half unmoving. That is why these two people, Mercury and Jupiter, are ruling the whole thing. That can be changed and that cannot be changed. At some point in time, the wisdom is Jupiter. As the Mercury improves, Jupiter also improves itself and says, look, this is the new rule now. 200 years ago, polygamy was allowed, but ninth house deals with the rules. Today, polygamy is not allowed in India. I'm talking about, at least for Hindus. Okay. So I'm just trying to quote only just to connect. Okay. Please don't make unnecessary comments on some other religion or stuff like that. Please refrain from doing such comments. I'll delete such comments if somebody makes such comments. I'm very averse to such comments. Okay. So Jupiter also will improve and say, look, these are the revised rules now. Now Mercury will improve. Then he'll say, look, Jupiter, what about you? Again, Jupiter also will improve and say, these are the new rules now, right? That is how they progress. If you sit in peace and understand what Jupiter is doing, after the Jupiter significations, you will understand even more better. Because we haven't talked about Jupiter. It's good to restrict ourselves to more Mercury or the class that we have listened to. More questions?
I have
Sir,
some.
Now go.
Yeah, you go ahead.
how can we relate the Gemini's symbol twins with Mercury?
Gemini is a symbol with twins. Gemini is a symbol with a lady. Okay, so in different places, different things are reckoned. First time a humanly appearance has come. That is what it shows. A Gemini has a girl and a boy. A Gemini can have a female. Okay, because in the Mesha or the Aries, you have sheep. Then you have Taurus. First time a human signification has come. That is what is the representation. You either keep it as twins, or there is a multiplicity, or there is a gender neutrality. or the person does not believe in zero and binary thing. 0, 1, he does not believe in. He believes in 0.5 thing. There is something, a via media thing, that is Mercury. That's why the twins.
Okay.
Because the human brain is more evolved than the animal thing. So the first time people have represented it as a humanly figure. That is what you will know from the Gemini. Even if you look at the nakshatras also, we've talked about Mrigashira, right? Mrigashira is the first thing. So Mriga Shira. Shira is the head that was cut off by the Rudra of the Brahma, right? And Rudra is wearing those mala, Kapal mala, right? Rudra's Kapal mala is also there in the Mrigashira. So that shows a grown-up individual. If you understand that from the standpoint of Rudra, it's the end of one thing and start of another thing, even from the Mrigashira as well. It's a very deep thing. Please read Mrigashira also, then you'll understand. I have explained it there. I think Mrigashira, Arudra, both places I have explained. Some part there and some part here. Please read those two. You will have more understanding. Because it's just not from one signification. You need a lot of things. Like this man Ustad was saying, I still cannot fully agree because I have not covered all the significations. If I cover all of them, then you will definitely agree that okay, this is what duality is.
Sure.
Yeah, like Mercury's duality is like this. I mean, I need money. I want to do business, but I need my monthly salary. This is duality, right? That's the first duality Mercury will have. I need stability, but I need growth. He needs both of them at the same time. A lot tricky. If you have a very good Mercury, you can use the situation to your liking. You can mold it and say, look, you can prove your point either way. That's why 6th house is for the lawyers, right? And lawyers always prove their point and say that he is right, the lawyer is right. So that's why you have the 6th house there for people who are lawyers. So Mercury is always trying to prove his point as right. Ustad.
So you have, am I correct that you have not spoken about Maran Karan of Mercury in this lecture?
I spoke.
You spoke, so I'll join late maybe.
7th
Okay,
house
I'll
I
read.
spoke.
Okay, but okay. I
Go
was
ahead. If you have a
late.
question, no problem. Go ahead. Maybe I have not covered it.
Mercury, I believe Mercury has more than one Maran Karan.
2 Maran Karak sthanas are there. 4th house as well is Maran Karak. Sanjay Rath describes it as 4th house.
Yes,
A lot
I
of
think
other people describe it as 7th house. See, there is nothing wrong in understanding both, because ultimately you need the result. Mercury is not comfortable in the 4th house, also not comfortable in the 7th house for 2 simple reasons. 4th house is the comforts. Mercury does not want to sit or relax. Mercury wants to learn, right? So 4th house Mercury is Maran Karak because he doesn't want to sit. He's the fastest after Moon. He wants to strive, thrive, get more money, not enjoy comforts. Or not just rest. Because Mercury, again, Moon rules the night, right? 4th house rules the night. 4th house rules the comforts that the mother will provide at night. Mother will sleep alongside you and while you're a kid, and she keeps tapping you and says, look, I'm here, don't worry, keep sleeping. Okay. Same is the case with the wife as well. At some point in time, you will feel that there is someone alongside me. Okay, I'm not alone. That is what Mercury is. Mercury needs support, similar to Moon, right? He keeps ensuring that. However, but Mercury does not want to sit and relax. Mercury wants to work. When he sleeps, he becomes the Moon. When he is awake, he is the Mercury.
okay.
Anybody else? Any questions?
So as you said that there are two Maran Karan Sthan for Mercury. It is fourth and seventh, both we can consider.
Correct.
So can we also take it in this, like, can we make it if Mercury is with Venus, then also the traits of that Maran Karan will come with Mercury?
No, not necessarily. Mercury is comfortable with joining any planet because he's
Okay,
a neuter. Okay.
okay,
Mercury
okay.
is very happy joining anyone.
So that means if Mercury is sitting alone anywhere, then it is problematic than with even
Not
if negative planet.
not necessarily also, because if Mercury is an intelligent fellow, okay, so even if he is alone, then he will develop some skill to fight that thing. Okay, if you're a kid, if you look at a kid, first time he'll be afraid of darkness. Every day there is darkness, right? He gets used to the darkness and try to develop a skill to survive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I do. I do. Yes, sir.
So that Mercury can be even more stronger with time. But in the
Okay.
first time, or the first few months, or first few years, or first few days, or first few months of the career, the person may think, look, I'm not getting any support from anyone for the first few years. Then he will become like a rock star and say, look, I don't need anybody's support. I'm on my own self. Right?
Okay, sir.
You cannot generalize like that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So
Understood.
the evolution can so happen that the person gets a lot of support right from the first, and he does not have to even care about being alone. Okay, there is an office, there are 10 people to help him around, then he'll be more happy and he will never learn anything, right? Or he will learn only those things which the other 10 people cannot do. Because Mercury knows that I have this backup. Let me do something else because I need more money, right? Anyway, for this routine work, all these 10 people are there. Now, if I don't even have those 10 people, I will evolve into all those 10 people and do all that work by myself. Now, who you would say is a better guy? It would be both. It can be both, right? Have you understood what I said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have understood. Mercury is basically transaction anywhere he's sitting, which wherever it is about transaction.
Transacting every day about money. How can I make money? How can I improve this system and make money? Eighth house, he'll improve eighth house. Ninth house, he'll improve eighth house. In due course, if he wants to cheat, he will cheat. Okay. That is what Mercury. Or if there is a mistake that can happen, he'll say, yes, this is a mistake. Keep moving. Okay, you're learning something. Okay, this is not how you don't do. You do it better. And sometimes those mistakes can be costly.
Okay. And one more thing, sir, like you said that Moon and Mercury are the two planets which are like are responsible for cheating,
Yeah.
are biggest cheaters. So for somebody to get cheated and for somebody to cheat,
I've
like,
given you the example, right? Somebody calls you up and says that, look, you invest 1 lakh rupee, I'll make 15 lakhs in 15 days. People are paying money and into those Ponzi schemes. It is because of your Moon and Mercury. Correct?
so that is what I was asking. Like, is it like the conjunction between them or
No,
like?
no, no. Your Moon can be anywhere.
Acha,
Okay.
okay.
Don't ever think that Moon in a particular position will do that. Your Moon can be anywhere, or
Okay.
your Mercury can be anywhere.
Okay,
It
sir.
can
Okay.
still happen. You will come to it eventually. Don't rush.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir.
Good. Done? Yeah.
Also, one request. Actually, for the Rohini, there is no English lecture, sir.
There is a lecture we have actually did Rohini for the first time. I forgot recording it, and then I have to redo the class. So it appears after the all nakshatras are over. All the
Okay.
nakshatras are over.
Okay, sir.
Like
I'll check.
after Revati, there will be Rohini.
Okay, sir. I'll check that.
The Mercury is the second fastest, I believe, or
Correct. Or what?
Moon is the fastest. Okay.
Moon is the fastest. Actually, Lagna is the fastest. then is the moon, then is the Mercury. So cheating, all three will be involved.
Okay, that is again a very good point. I never considered Lagna.
Lagna is the first thing you have to consider.
In
Just
chart reading, yes, but like this, like planetary wise.
no, Lagna is the first thing that can cheat, right? Because it's yourself, right? You're the most selfish fellow. That is why you have won. You so in the semen, you are the person who won the whole race. So you are the biggest cheater.
Hmm.
I mean, no offense for that word of the cheater, because mind is like that. You have to win, right? Ultimately, you have to survive. And the world is survival of the fittest.
Hmm. Correct.
Good. Anybody who has not understood anything, or any feedback or anything of that sort?
No, sir, it was a lovely class.
Thanks.
Yes.
Good. Unless anybody has any questions, we can say good night to each other. I'll wait a couple of minutes. See, the more you'll ask questions, more is you will learn, and also eventually I'll also learn, because while I am explaining, I get a lot of clarity on my own thinking. And also I get to hear these lectures once again. Sometimes I'll be astonished, oh wow, this came so well.
So the last point that you made was really like, it blew my mind. Like, we never thought that Lagna is so important. We only run behind planets. Okay, this is this, this is this. But then it was a very good point.
Lagna, let us suppose, if you live in any of the cities today, right? All of the people are operated by the C-sections. And what a lot of people are thinking is, I'll give a good muhurta for the doctor, and I'll tell him, okay, please operate on this day, sir. It is a very good day. It is Ekadashi day. The Lagna has Jupiter inside it. I'll give that time and get him operated. What happens is, even if you operate him, what you're thinking is you're trying to influence it. Actually, God decides when you exactly have to come out. Okay. So in the whole 1.5 hour or 2.5 hour, sorry, 2.5 to 2 hour time of the Lagna, you are born exactly at that particular point, even though a C-section is made. Okay. So it is God that decides it. So there can be 10 people who are born in the same Lagna, because most of the operations of the C-section happen early in the morning. Doctors prefer 5 to 9, not after that. I don't know why, but most of the times C-sections happen at that time. As far as I know, I can still be wrong based on the experience that I have. To whomever I have asked, that is when it happened. Or unless an emergency, something happens, or she had to be operated or something like that. Or even, okay, even if you have planned it and you've made a afternoon 12 o'clock cesarean, etc. Even in that case, the Lagna, even if it changes by 1 minute, okay, or 2 minutes, it makes a big difference. Okay. So 1 minute will be like what, 3-4 minutes off. That's why a lot of people will be born in the same Lagna, but you will have completely different traits. 3 minutes, 4 minutes off, it's enough. Completely different characteristics. I have explained this also, especially on the Navamsha thing. So 10, a lot of people, what they think is, I just will look at D1 and give some prediction. Please don't do it. It won't work. Because if you know your time decently accurate, at least on the physical level numbers, like the up to D12, okay, your time has to be accurate, because that's the physical plane. You go to Jagannath Hora and download the book in the menu. You go to the menu. I think the menu will lead to a help book. So that will show the physical, that will show all the chakras and what are those chakras will, the Varga chakras, I mean to say, divisional charts. So what each Varga chakra will deal about, he has given an excellent explanation. So of which the first 12 chakras, D1 to D12, will deal with the physical plane. Okay, so physical plane means what are all required in this world. physical appearance, money, etc., everything. So at least till that level, it has to be accurate. Okay. So don't think, wow, the same Lagna, everything is same, so the life is same. No, it is not. You already know it. It is only that you are, cheating yourself and saying, look, it will be the same. No, it will not. So at least D9, D10 level, it has to be accurate. That is when you will tune the whole thing. And because somebody asked me, why not we look till the D60? Actually, you don't need to look at D60 if you're looking at worldly things. If your idea is to do a sadhana or do something else, look at D60. Be fairly accurate till D10, that is enough. Because most of the questions are marriage and profession. Nobody will ask you, am I going to get moksha in this life? If somebody is asking it, it means he's untrue. He does not know it. More likely that he will not get it. Okay, because he's doing with a karma of getting moksha. Because nishkama will get the moksha, right? Now you want to get the moksha, and you are, you have that karma of having that moksha. Okay, anyway, let me not go much into the Vedanta because I'm not very great at it. All right.
Mercury coming there. Again, Mercury coming there. Will I get moksha or not?
Yeah, again, Mercury, keeps bashing you and says, okay, will I get moksha or not? That's the problem with the Mercury. If he knows something, he wants to dig deep, dive and go further. All right, Ustad.
Yes, sir. For subconscious mind, we take 12th house also, or not?
You can take 12th house also.
Okay.
Anything in quadrants to the third house. 3, 6, 9,
Oh,
and 12 all deal with subconscious because all the quadrants will support each other. That's what I keep saying, right? You must have heard this before also. Quadrants will support each other. So 2, 6, 10, okay, these are trines. They also support each other in a different way. They actually have the same significations. Anything in quadrant to the second house will support the second house. Quadrant to the sixth house will support the sixth house. For you to practice a skill, you need to first know the skill. That is the third house. Okay. Sixth,
yes.
let us suppose the third house, sixth house, ninth house, 12th house thing. Okay. You need a guru for it, ninth house. 12th house is bhoga and leaving it. There's no end to these things. Okay. We'll keep learning. Let's take a chill pill and break. Okay. Chalo. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Good. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thanks.